Good morning. So I apologize in advance for the wind. It is kind of windy outside. I am on a little walk. It's been a busy couple of weeks. I finally got my bed platform sorted out. We did the kitchen cabinets. Vlad came to help again, which is awesome. And we did the electrical box and the water tank box. So a lot of structural stuff. I think the only other really big structure that I have to figure out, the only other two structures that I have to figure out are the cabinets that I'm gonna put overhead and the cubbies that are going on the driver's side of my layout. So those two still haven't been figured out, but we're working on it. Come check it out. So after my ridiculous week getting everything cut and drilled and just feeling super frustrated with this whole handbrake lowering part, I finally wrapped up the install and the swivel seat. Something to note, the settling of the handbrake into the new place is definitely a two-person job. One person should be underneath the van guiding the cable so the rubber coating on the handbrake cable doesn't shear or cut coming out of the sheet metal underneath the van. It's super sharp. There was a couple of nicks in mine, so that's why I'm sharing this. The seat works great considering how close my bench is to the front of the van. I'm honestly trying to use every possible inch of space throughout the build, so things are quite snug. A big realization I had doing this install and scouring the internet is that everyone has one way or another of doing both the handbrake lowering install and in general just building their van. So that old saying is true, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. I guess pick one and see where it takes you. Next on the task list was cutting gussets for the window stamp outs in the rear. Because it's not a standard angle, I had to get clever with cutting them out, which definitely tested my confidence with the chop saw. After the gussets, my attention turned back to the electrical system. I don't want the box to take up a lot of space, and I don't want the system in general to take up a lot of space, so I'm making sure that all the components are close together within reason. After all that dry fitting was done, I realized that I need to actually make my bed frame first, and then the electrical box. So I started cutting out 2x2s to length and PLing and rattling them into furring strips that I had installed previously.
After chatting with a buddy, I decided that I should insulate the water tank on the wall closest to the van frame. I started by building a wheel well frame with enough space to fit half-inch XPS, more PL and brad nails to hold it all together, and top off the night. Luckily, I had Vlad's help for a few days over this episode, so that was awesome. We got a ton done. Thanks a ton for your help, Vlad. I really appreciate it. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be as far as I am on this build. The day started by finishing off the water tank while paneling the interior garage walls. We had to work in small quarters because it rained like 50 millimeters that day, so it was a wet one. Once we had the water tank done, we went back to the electrical section to frame out the structure of the electrical box. The wood I used to build a lot of this is that 2x2 that I was mentioning, which is cedar, and I could pretty much only find aspen plywood, so I went with 3/4 inch aspen and 3/8 aspen for the wall paneling. The shower mat doesn't quite fit how I wanted it to, so I got some braided steel cable from Home Depot, and I'm kind of sort of just chopping up the old one and making my own out of the treated wood. Spent a lot of time chatting about how to build the kitchen, and we kind of just said it's easier to just go for it than stand around and yap. So we started cutting wood to size, attached it all together, and dropped the cabinets into place. It was a very satisfying fit. This thing is super snug to everything, the bed, the van wall, the passenger door frame, everything. It fits awesome. We had a little bit more juice in us that night, so we went ahead and made more gussets and used them as the mounting points for the bed beams.
So I absolutely love the way the van is turning out. The shape that the garage is taking, that octagonal vibe, I think looks super cool. And yeah, I'm just super happy with it. When I left Calgary, I said that I would share everything with y'all, like how this whole thing unfolds, whatever, right? Now, the truth is that it hasn't been all rainbows and butterflies. Building a van has been incredibly demanding in many ways, emotionally, physically, um, just mentally taxing. Like it's just a lot. There's there's so much, which is fine. But since I've left, my health hasn't also been 100%. I got sick a couple weeks ago, which never happens. I never really get sick. And since then, I haven't been feeling 100%. So I've gone to a bunch of doctors, I've gotten a bunch of different responses, and more recently, I started getting like pins and needles and like numbness in my ring finger and my pinky finger, and I went to a chiropractor, and they said that I have carpal tunnel, or I'm showing signs, or whatever tests she made me do were positive for carpal tunnel. There you go. So that's strange, but like the experience of it has been really even weirder. If I'm sitting at my computer, it hurts to edit. Like my wrist goes numb when I'm typing. My fingers go numb when I'm typing, rather. Like weird, like weird nerve. I don't know what you call it. Like tingling sensations and like weird like pulls and yeah, like riding my bike sucks. Like my wrist hurts, which really sucks. Like devastating. She put in these like acupuncture like needles, and they're stick-ons, and I was able to. She sent me on my way, and she pulled some stuff. She adjusted some things, but my hand, or my wrist rather, hasn't felt this good in 4 weeks. I'm really happy that she did whatever she did, but if I spend too much time at the computer, again, last night when I was editing this video, numb. I was working on the van a little bit yesterday as well, and numb. Whatever she did, clutch. These little needles, clutch. Yeah, my wrist hasn't felt better in 4 weeks. Super stoked about that, because I'm really just trying to get this damn thing done. And yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on over here. Pretty soon we'll be on the road. Can't wait for doing that. Hopefully the carpal tunnel doesn't get too rowdy. Yeah, see you guys next time. Keep rolling.